Yeah,
half a century.
okay. So, when I looked in it, it's a big black bag. Okay, that's all I want you to see that is there. Now, I was getting something from the property over there. First thing, it was the property where they built them 3 houses and they stopped. They was sending me something to clean up the property for them. And I called them, I said, no, our lot is not lot number 13.
Separate
Yeah, so he had lot number, he had those 3 lots. Okay, problem solved. Then they sent me something in the mail. It was on, it said it was a clean up the property, or we're gonna clean it up type thing. So, I have right here for my 22618 cleaned up 5045. Okay, now, to make sure, I have this right here. You can see my truck, and you can see that I have cleaned that, and I got the trash that's over there. I have it right there. You can look. Now, on the back, yeah. Now, what they did on the back, turn it over on the back. They went over and cut down all the bushes. Now, we've never had to cut down all those. We always had to keep overhang from the street. You know, there from the street, we always had to keep overhang. Just clip it where there's no overhang on the street or there's no bother to other people. They went over there now and they done cut down all the stuff. And I imagine, because I looked in the mail and it had we have to see you. We got some mail for you from that department. That's when I went around there this morning and I saw that they had cut this, they cut everything. See, that's never been, because we had it settled with the city that next door, our stuff, we help and keep DC green. That we have a right to have greenery on our property as long as we can, because it helps clean the air, which is true. So now, to me, it seems like the city has a thing with contractors to get rid of black people. Because I done had about 15 or 20 offers for that property. So they zeroed in on that property. They didn't zero in on the property there. They didn't zero in on the lot there. They can't be too worried about greenery because, see, right across the street, our lot is clean. But right next to it is that pathway.
Right.
That's their city property.
It's trashed all the time.
It's trashed, and that big tree that leans almost halfway out is over on their property, over on ours.
Right.
They ain't never came and said, hey, we're gonna straighten our thing up. They use our property next door, that property, that ditch, that's a drainage ditch. It leads right into a drain. We can't build on it. When it was on 8th Street down there, we went there almost 20 years. When we bought it, we want to build on it. Can't build on it. It's a drainage ditch. We pay taxes on it. They fined us a couple of times. We can't build on it, but it's their drainage ditch. They don't never say, hey, we'll rent it from you. is their drainage ditch that leads into their drain. It's our lot. We pay taxes on it twice a year, and we can't use it. They don't ever say, hey man, the stuff falling all over on your property. No, they're coming up, cleaning up mine, and I didn't clean it up. See, this here, that means I didn't clean it up, and I left the trash right there. So you can see that, and I can take this to a forensic thing, and they can say, that trash in that bag, that's why I have what I'm gonna do riding around with a trash bag. I knew what they was gonna do. They was up to something stupid. So I cleaned it and left it. I took this picture when this, you can see, came down here. Now I got this in that bag in this truck. That's why I took the picture. And they done cut down all the stuff, and I imagine they got a bill for me. Well, we was going to California to go to court, but we're gonna sue them now. This is not the big sewer, this is just them. $5 million. Why? Why $5 million? Because all throughout this time, they've been lurking around writing this thing on us. Pepco, remember that when we froze in here? Paid $6,500 for that. We ain't gonna charge them with this, but they was all in on it. That pole right there and that wire to come over here, they're supposed to get here November 29th, I think. Just before we needed it, it was still nice. They let us freeze that whole winter and came here on March 20th the next year. And I called them every day and they wouldn't come, just to be funny. Mr. Anderson, it's not only that, it's all the kind of foolishness that they've been doing. So we're gonna sue them. Now tomorrow, I'm gonna go down, if anybody wanna go with me, at noon, I'm gonna be down at the department or whatever the department is, Consumer Regulatory Affairs, with my loudspeaker. And that's the spill, how the city is working with builders and developers to try to get rid of black people.
The mayor is big on that.
Huh?
The mayor is big on that.
Yes. And,
That's why she got $2 million in her campaign chest right now, and nobody challenging her.
well, see, here's the thing. We're gonna challenge, we don't want big, nothing, but we're gonna be out there telling them this. They can't do nothing. I got 3 sets that I bought for California. So I'm gonna spend a week here getting my legal stuff together, because I'm gonna sue them for all kind of stuff that they have done. The last time we paid a fine, $3,000, some dollars or more. I don't know if y'all remember the final notice syndrome. Remember we'd always talk about it? Here's a final notice. We get that. Well, what is the first notice? And see, they ain't got nothing written for all of those notices. They have to prove that they identified and they got in contact with us. So this afternoon, I'm putting all the records together. Tomorrow, I'm gonna go down there and talk crazy to the people, but I'm figuring out if anybody got any suggestions about a legal team, whether a standard lawyer, whether the who we would acquire for a legal challenge to the system. But we're not going to bring in all of the other stuff that we was talking about unless they happen to act as the trial is going along. Then we'll say, well, the city did do such and such and such. But we have most of our communications, some of it got soaked with water, but we got enough communications and notes on the fines and the stuff that they have in action with us. So, God willing, we're gonna just sue them. So, yes.
You can see up on 8th Street, it ain't but 3 properties left for them to complete what they want to do,
Right,
and they all belong to us.
yeah, that's right. That's what they shooting at. Well, we're gonna shoot them back, and I imagine we're gonna have a lot of people in the city behind us. So we're gonna deal with that. Before, I'm gonna get this legal stuff for here, for the property, not for all of the other, when we was talking about we're gonna sue them for $25 million.
Right, that's something separate.
That was all, okay, here's the idea. One of the reasons we waited so long and so much redundancy, the first case in 71 and 73, we had put a good case together, but they could come and they could pull it apart. Because, you know, in South America and Mexico, I had stacks of legal books, you know, everything, Black's Law Dictionary, oh my goodness, everything. Rules of Federal Criminal Procedure, I had all of that. And the law, when you're sitting there and you're reading the law, you got a lot of protection. Oh my goodness, it sounds great. But getting that protection is another thing. If you super rich, you got all that coming. You're just gonna pay $20 million for it. That's why you can't hardly, a big company, you can't hardly do nothing to them. Because they can pay for it. They can, okay. Me and you, when I saw how simple, and remember, I'm one person challenging the whole government. I'm black in the days when it wasn't no big deal being black. You know what I mean? You don't get no stars at all for that. So this time around, I use the word redundancy over and over and over again. So we're not going to put anything forward unless, if we put 5 of these forward, we got 15 in the background. So if they just X that out of something, it's fine. Here's another redundancy. What I mean to say is, either here or nor in California, we're not going to bring any, I suspect, or I know in my mind they were up to this. We're going to bring only concrete, day to day. That's why everything is all written and da-da-da-da-da. That's how we're dealing with the government. So let them deny anything. Just have another thing. Show it. That's the way it goes. Okay. This is another thing on my camera. This is the last time I was in Iran. You can imagine how mad they was on the phone. If it says Tehran, it has a date up there, and it shows you that the thing I like about this, it shows that we're not with nobody because they in power, in a position to do something. You know, if you have friends, if they're not in power, so what? They're still your own folks. See, other people ain't like that. So these people stay mad. Plus, who knows? You know, they don't know that every guy has a big compound and a big staff. You probably get more done after presidency than you can during the presidency. But anyway, I'm also gonna Now, the law schools in the area, Howard got one, right?
Howard, UDC,
Georgetown.
UDC
yeah.
from Georgetown, but Howard and UDC. I would like to present at one class some overall, I would like Howard to get involved because of their history. Here's what I mean. In the public wise, we're gonna have a special website and all that, a legal website. Huh?
Something happened to your speaker. Okay.
Okay. Could you hear it? We're gonna have I want to get Howard involved because we want a research team to focus on all of this stuff we're talking about legally. Number one, they know how to put this COINTEL program into legal language, historical language. See, Oakland, this is they might as well call it the Research Institute. We're talking to everybody. We want you, individuals and organizations, to study Oakland for the last 35, 40 years from an Islamic point of view. We want you to study the Masjid. We want you to study the institutions, the schools, and the people who were there. When did they come? When did they leave? Do your independent research. Now, this is before the Freedom of Information Act. Why are we doing all this before the Freedom of Information Act? Because we want our mind and our legal processes already mature without any help or diversion or distraction from them. Remember, let's take the Freedom of Information Act. Suppose they cross out most of the stuff, right? It doesn't make a difference. The title and the volume tells our story. Why is that there? Why is this as a citizen? Okay. Remember, the government has to verify. Why? What gives you the right to do that? Why is it a landmark case? Necessary. You might have heard this morning and last night about the new super waves of gathering information on people. Yeah, it was just on public TV, the public radio last night. I had the news on all night. Okay, now, if I hear something I wake up. I may not wake all the way up, but I hear, like, so this morning early, I heard that some of it was with Russians, some of it was with Americans, that they can, stuff they've been doing. They've been getting all this information on peoples, and they can pinpoint what you like and what you da-da-da-da-da. They've been doing that. But it's on a higher level right now. It doesn't mean nothing to us. What it means something to us is this. We have to be able to develop this story legally to the people, because I believe it's part of our time that we're living in to help the American people elevate the concept of the right of privacy. That's why we always talk about a constitutional amendment. I mean, the whole thing we're going to be pushing is human liberation. I just went to the coffee place this morning. I was right there by It was right there by, what is the name's auto place? They stopped one of them Mercedes SUVs. And the police was just normal. The DC County white guy, he just go on, walk into the car, he flips his gun thing open. This is some traffic. What the hell is, you know? Think about the way you have to educate your children. When you stop, keep your hands on the steering wheel and just sit still. Don't reach over. Who the hell, what does that have to do with freedom? That was the same as when we was real little kids. Be careful with the white man. Don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. Now, it's the same thing, except it's worse. When you get stopped, you have to tell all, sit there. Don't reach over in the glove, you know, oh, hey man, let me go get my license, let me go get my insurance, let me go get that. No, sit there. Why? Because you have a chance of getting shot. Easy. It's okay, freedom. Hey man, I don't know, I want to sound old-fashioned. We had more freedom back in the racist days than we do now. We had way more freedom. You didn't have to have an ID. You don't have an ID, you're going to jail. You got to have insurance. You got to have all that helps other people. You just need driver's license. And all of those are offensive if you get stuck on the white man's older girl a little money, they take your driver's license, don't they?
Yep.
Now, what kind of job you gonna get? Do you see how crazy these people is? Hey man, the government is locked into everything. We got to get just for general American freedom, not us.
You see on the movies what what they were doing a couple of weeks ago with those speed cameras? Did you see that? Pushed them over, man. I mean, they pushed them over, beat them up, and went on about their business.
Yeah.
Because they're tired of getting a ticket. And last year, the city made $99 million off of tickets, and nobody's telling you, well, where is the money going? What are you doing with $99 extra million? What are you doing?
It's not only that, the government's job is to help you live a smoother, better life. You're not a revenue source for the government. That's not in the Constitution.